Hello, it is Molly Reamer with 30 Days of Goddess and Bridges Grove with a flip through video of my prayer book for January. It is a rainy day out here in the studio, so I am catching up on some videos that I wanted to make today. And January's practice I spent at the beach at Dauphin Island on the Gulf Coast in Alabama, and I didn't have a printer with me or access to a trusty Staples, and so I did have my little printer that my aunt gave me for Christmas, a little Kodak Step printer, and I was going to show that to you really quick because it features the things I made with it feature heavily in the book. And so you'll see it popping up. You'll see all the things from it. So it is just this little teeny tiny device. Look at that. So sleek and handy. And then you just turn it on and anything you have in your phone, basically, you can print into a picture. And then the paper is sticker paper. And whoops, excuse me. I'll just have to lay that aside. I only have one hand. And it's on a sticker. It's a piece of paper, and it has a sticker back, and so you can just peel it off and stick it right in your prayer book. I found it so helpful and so fun to have along with me. So my word of the year is center, and so I made myself this little reminder. I dedicate myself to the practice of center. I keep coming back to center. It's very easy to get uncentered. It's very easy to get, and I personally am very easily like rocked by things around me, by extra noise, by chaos, by disruption, by people, sending me crappy emails that I then have to think about. Whatever it is, I get buffeted easily by external circumstances. Some people in the past would have called that being a highly sensitive person. Some people today would call that being neurodivergent. Whatever it is, I have to really carefully bring myself back to center, like repeatedly. And so I was reminding myself to dedicate myself to the practice of center because I really need to come back to center over and over. Little sticker came from Kelly Lincoln of Dancing Goddess Dolls. Let me see what I got here. Oh, that bookmark's from her as well. I reinforced the inner back cover with a Wee Moon postcard. I was honored to be the Holy Days contributor to Wee Moon 2023. And so they sent me some postcards. I stuck it in there. I have a nice moon snail on the back because that's my favorite shell, and we were at the beach. So January might be an interesting time to feature so much beach imagery, but it is really an important part of my own devotional rhythm to be there. And so that is what is reflected. Another little graphic that I made and printed out with my printer. The inner front cover has a poem card that was a benefit that I made for our Goddess Magic people. That's patreon.com/Goddess Magic. All kinds of perks and benefits to being a member of that community there. And I do so thank my patrons for supporting me in this crucible of creation. I would not be able to do the kind of work I do without their backing, and I really appreciate that. So I had some Salt Life shirts. Gotta have some Salt Life shirts when you're at the beach, and they happened to hold perfectly the same kind of print, the size of little print that little printer makes. And so I had made some omen cards, some 12 Omen Days cards for the Goddess Magic people, and so I printed mine out as a reminder, and then I kept it in the front. This little tag about instructions for beautiful new year came from Alexander Frasnin, and I wanted that available too. I have my simple and sacred affirmation prayer that we use during our live circles, and then the larger card. When I got home, I was able to get the Omen Days cards printed larger. You will see in my February book that I've started to create some monthly practice cards for each month as well. Those are different than the Omen Days cards, and they're available at 30daysofgoddess.com. Right now, you can access the ones for February, and then I will make more for March for you all. This was my word from doing my Kalamundala that I stuck in here. I need to remember to do that for February. Sorry about that. This is from Poetic Goddess. There's my moon wheel. And then the pages for this month all have a similar kind of scrapbook style because of me using the little pictures and using page a day stuff. And so you'll notice a sort of overall theme, which is something that happened that day in picture form, and then kind of some other core components. So they're a little bit more formulaic's the wrong word, but they're a little less diverse in terms of content. They're very similar in terms of their layout. And unlike when I'm at home, Most of these pages I did in the night because I was so busy walking during the day and looking for shells rather than working on the Prayerbook page. So most of these were done at night with my kids. But yes, I started to print out pictures of kind of something from every day, and I kept that up really throughout the month, the pictures. These colors cards from our Cut Your Own deck, I had those with me already cut up and ready to use. I also had, so Patricia Valentine has a new Oracle deck, the Sacred Flame, Creative Flame Oracle. And so she included PDFs with that, and I had those printed out with me as well. And so some of those cards are represented in the book as well. Yeah, like this one. That's the back, the blue card is the background. The back test paper sheet from the little printer, the little printer paper. That's the simple and sacred affirmation prayer that we use during our online circles. Online circles are once a month and free, and you can access those by going to 30daysofgoddess.com as well. This day we walked all the way to the end of the island, which was almost 19 miles round trip in a single day. That was our longest single walk that we've really ever done. And so I screenshotted my step counter for the day and printed it out with my little printer and kept it in there. This was the full moon, and so I made a fold out with Patricia Valentine's information and then also some content from the Witch's date book for 2023. Page a day calendar affirmation. Postcard from Joni Ray, Tales of a Kitchen Witch. You'll also see some little cards from Effie Wild in here. She does moonshine. This is from my Desire Map planner. Whoops. I have a lot of the mini cards stuck in the pockets. Lots of feathers from shorebirds. This was I was really working with the imagery of doors being open. On this month. This one has Patricia Valentine card in it and a sticker. But so you'll see some open door imagery recur, and that was kind of like making that open. That's actually a little pocket with a ritual for honoring the creation of a project and a card inside. It's a very subtle little pocket there. You almost can't even see that it is there. Poetic Goddess again. More pictures. Travel magazine quote. There's my open door. Oh, I was doing 21 Days of Tarot with Susan Lauren as well. Lauren? I actually don't know how to say her last name, I guess. Anyway, I was doing 21 Days of Tarot, so you'll see the tarot cards. I forgot to mention that. They pop up on each of the pages for the first 21 days of the book. We enjoy watching the dolphins when we're at Dolphin Island. Dolphin Island. It's actually French title rather than referring to dolphins, but sounds like dolphin, even though it's not spelled the same and not quite pronounced the same, but people often hear you say dolphin when you're really saying dolphin. We ended up looking at several houses while we were there and considering buying one. We ended up deciding not to, which I still feel some loss about. Maybe I'll talk about that another time. Another little pocket with a note inside. I make the word cards into a pocket every day, so the notes are in there too. That's from Desire Map also. Desire Map. That's from Sacred Self-Care Oracle. I had an extra one. This is a part of a gift birthday card that my daughter got on her birthday, and so then I made it into a little note. With pictures from her birthday. We went horseback riding at a stable that I had looked up that was close enough to the island that we could get to, and it was a surprise. She didn't know. She rides at a stable locally, and so I surprised her with a family trail ride at this stable, and that was actually really exciting and fun for all of us. So a lot of pictures from the trail ride there. So you'll notice that the pictures don't necessarily correspond with the themes necessarily, because we were doing other things. Went to the aquarium on the island, and I thought it was a sticker. It was actually a temporary tattoo, but I went ahead and rubbed it onto a little tag instead. And so you get to pet the rays and the skates at the aquarium. So I put a lot of stickers of those in there. We also enjoyed looking at the seahorses and the babies, and so I added that. This day I spent sewing a little fox. This was when my oldest son was getting ready to travel home, so we were spending time hanging out with him. Then that was a final group shot on the deck before we took him to the airport. That picture's from the airport, and then there he is getting ready to fly off by himself. That was a really hard day for ye old maternal heart, but I did it, and I think it was a good experience for him, and probably really for me too. This day, the word was cup, and I happen to have this 4 of Cups card with me that I think had come in kind of a magic mail from somebody else. It was in with my stuff, and this was from a collection of demo decks that somebody mailed me, and so and it happened to be the Queen of Cups. Those were both happened to be with me, so I had to use them. Creative Flame Oracle again represented. We saw bald eagles, and then I went to look at where they had been and saw their footprints left in the sand, so that was very enchanting to me. Here's my bookmark from Kelly. A little tag. Things I was working on. In larger version, we hit our my 5-year anniversary on Patreon, and so I made some little gifts for our people, and I printed out small picture-sized versions of those. Things from Wee Moon, more Sacred Flame or Creative Flame Oracle. If you follow me on Facebook, you saw that I put up a lot of pictures of this little diorama, bookshelf diorama that I was working on, and it was titled Enjoy the Time, so I went ahead and cut that out and left it there. This was a really great walk with a lot of shells. We didn't necessarily find as many shells as we sometimes do on this trip, and that was like our best walk of the trip, so I had to document that. More from the Page a Day calendar. Whoops. Wee Moon. Feeling a little defeated, so I had to keep going. Also went to the Mardi Gras parade, and so a little coin that I got thrown to me, I went ahead and put in the pocket. Some more tags. I actually got that tag paper at Dollar General, and so I used it several times. Then we headed home, and this was from the Tide calendar background that I used. Did that in the car, and then we ended up getting stuck overnight in Memphis, and so I ended up doing a map from Memphis as the start to my February book. Pocket where I keep my extra stuff as I go. Woman Runes descriptions, and mood tracker from Kelly link in as well. So that was my January prayer book flip through, and you are welcome to join in. There are many ways to be involved. Some small practices that will take you only 15 seconds a day, and you can do 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour. But 30 Days of Goddess is all about creating simple and sacred practices that help to nurture you and support you on your goddess-centered path, or just a sacred path of more mindfulness, more joy, more connection, and more magic. Thanks so much for being here. Bye-bye.